Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of The J Word. And right now we're almost in February. So that means that we really have to make sure that we're not just letting anybody be in our ear. Ooh, I feel like that should be on our New Year resolution every year. Monitoring who is in your ear. A lot of these people out here are bitter. That's the word. That's the J word. Avoid bitter people. Yes, we help them. We love them. We want the best for them. But at the same time, do not let them get in your ear and plant stuff that's going to turn you into them, if not worse. A lot of people, they will come to you with advice, and they'll come to you trying to give you hey bro, let me just tell you what I feel, or hey girl, let me talk to you for a minute. And they mask it as they're giving you advice, but they're not. What they're doing is trying to make sure you don't do or go any further than where they've gone, especially when they have made mistakes. They are not happy with those mistakes. They'll make us feel like they're fine and they don't care about people's opinions. For a great deal of people who are unable to really be real with themselves. Like if you make a mistake, just being real and owning it. You have a lot of people who try to act as though they don't care about what anybody says about them. And if you try to talk about them, it's just water on their back. So they do a big job of trying to mask their hurt or pain by pretending to be a superhero or having this superhuman strength to just avoid what the naysayers say. But what they don't understand is that when they do that, when they take that on in many ways, it builds up a shield for them to say, well, shoot, since I messed up, I'm going to make sure they mess up too. And a lot of times the casualties are people within their own families. You can be friends. You can be close associates, whether you're talking about being from church or you work together or you're classmates, you go to school, high school together, or you're in college. A lot of their casualties are found in these areas because people will mask it. They'll mask their advice as, oh, I'm just trying to help you, but really they're trying to hurt you. And listen, let me tell you, I ain't the oldest chick in the room, but I've been around enough to know a lot of things about what I'm saying. That's why I'm telling you, you have to monitor who is in your ear every year. Monitor who is in your ear. Who is talking to you? If they are not building you up, if they are not encouraging you, if I come to you and what I want to do is something that you know is going to set me back, and you sit and you encourage me to do it, if you are misaligning me in any way and you have influence over my life, we're not just talking for no reason. You both mutually influence each other, but you have a greater deal of the influence and you can kind of take me into a space where I would listen to what you say and bend to it because I respect you in that light. When you take it and manipulate it and you tell me or you encourage me to do something, you may not audibly say it, but you encourage me to do something that would misalign me in any way, shape, or form. I gotta avoid you at all costs. My purpose is too great for me to spend time with you, even 5 minutes of time in that lane, allowing you to tell me things that will drive me off course, not keep me on course. Y'all, I've seen it too much. People who were destined for greatness, many people who are still destined for greatness, but they can't get nowhere because of who they with. The person that is misaligning them, they themselves, they want to be great. They want to walk in their purpose. They want to make sure that they are all that they can be. But they don't want to see you doing it. That's the whole reason they talking you into doing half the stuff you do now. And many times they'll say, oh, I didn't tell you to do that. No, you didn't tell me to do it audibly, but you definitely did say it without saying it. You are the company that you keep. Remember when we were told that growing up? It don't matter who said it, your teacher, your mama, your daddy, whoever, they said it. And it's true. And it goes beyond adolescence. You have to be more aware now of who's in your camp and in your circle than you did when you were a kid. The enemy will send anybody your way. They'll have the friendliest nature, the friendliest clothing, but you have to be able to discern, to see beyond that, to see the core of where they are. And bitter people, a lot of the people that don't want to see you going nowhere are bitter inside. And bitter people That is why you have to be careful with how you deal with them, because they are in a very sensitive ICU state. They are literally in an intensive care unit without even realizing it, because the status of their heart is in a place where it could really make or break them. And it definitely makes or breaks the people that they are around. Even if they don't always intentionally set out to make or break someone, it can still happen. That's why it's so important to forgive. That's why it's so important to, if you need therapy, to go to a therapist and talk about the things and situations in your life that have led to where you are now. Because we've all been through things. We've all experienced things. We've all struggled with unforgiveness, with letting go, with releasing hurt and pain that has been caused to us. We've all experienced that in more ways than one. But when you're getting that help, when you're getting that assistance, you have to be willing to do the work. We have so much, since I mentioned therapy, mental health and therapy over the last decade, I know has really broadened itself over the years, to the point where you have a lot more people who, especially older generations, who weren't even into mental health and therapy. Now they're open to sitting down and talking with someone. They're open to counseling. They're open to different things like that. And that is a beautiful thing. But what I have noticed within this scope is that a lot of people, they don't mind talking to the therapist or the counselor so long as they can walk out of the office and not change. You are paying someone, or maybe you're not paying someone, but just for most people, you're paying someone to sit and tell you things and tools and different things that you can use to get better, just so you can walk out of the office and still remain the same. I guess you just have money like that to waste, because that's not a good thing. If you are saying and you're understanding mental health and therapy, you have to be willing to do the work. You cannot sit and still sit in a state of, I'm blaming you, and you for why I'm here. And I know right now, some of you probably sitting here like, oh, look at her, trying to be Miss This and Miss That. I guess she don't know what I've been through. And maybe I don't, but I know what I have been through. Story is just untold. I know what my family has experienced and been through. So when I'm talking about this, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. You have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to put in the time, and it's not easy, especially when you have faced hurt, when you have faced trauma, when you have faced tragedies, when you have faced things that have really caused you to second guess yourself, second guess, wow, God, what is happening in my life right now? Why is their life seemingly so great and my life is like this? It's a lot that happens in all of our lives. But the issue that comes about in this conversation is when I see you intentionally trying to throw other people down. Hurt is hurt, and we can talk all day about hurt. But you cannot go out on a path of destruction with somebody else's life that don't even have anything to do with the decisions and the choices that you made. See, that's something especially that as millennials, we talk about a lot. We blame our parents a lot for a lot of things. And hey, I ain't saying your parents was perfect. My parents weren't perfect. But what I will give my parents is that they did the best that they could with the tools that they had, and they raised us to the best ability that God gave them. And I will give them that all day, every day. Because one day, I'm going to be somebody's mama. And I'm not going to be perfect either. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to do things that they won't agree with. And I want my child to be able to look at me in my human form and be able to realize that, yeah, my mama, I loved her. She was the best. She was the greatest. But at the same time, there were things about her that I understood, that while she made mistakes and I didn't understand them, she was trying to do the best. There is no perfect form of parenting. That's why when I see a lot of us say that, it's like, you don't realize that our parents, yeah, they were a part of a different generation who was raised and trained a different way. But then one day you're going to be a parent. And for many of us, you might already be a parent. And so you can do things differently for sure. I apply that any day. But we have to be careful of not taking accountability for why we've done things in our lives. I can't sit and blame my mom and my daddy all day, every day for why I am or am not in the place where I should be in my life. I cannot continue to blame them. We can have a conversation about things that happened in life that caused me to kind of veer off the road a little bit. We can have those conversations, but at the end of the day, I am held responsible for my decisions. And see, that's where we lose a lot of people, because a lot of people don't want to take accountability. They can sit all day and blame their mama. They can sit all day and blame their daddy, their grandpa, whoever in their life had any type of influence over them to the point where their life was altered in any way. You have the floor to talk about them, but the floor gets empty and it's time for us to stand and say, I did that. I made the decision to do that. I wanted to do that. And that led me here. We don't want to talk about that. And so a lot of times that is also what contributes to bitterness building up over time. Because if you can catch it in its initial stages, you can do some work. But when you have held on to stuff that has really churned in your heart and turned your heart dark and cold, and it's nothing, skeletons and bones there, it takes a tremendous amount of work to really undo all that toxicity and get that out. That's why you have people who intentionally seek out victims so they can destroy their lives and their future. They come out with this, I just want to help everybody smile. And they do conferences and they write books and you see them on television and they're often in your neighborhood and you see them and they come across as though they just want to help everybody. But when you follow them in their personal lives and the people that are connected to them, it's not the same. They don't want them to win. They don't want them to level up out of poverty or level up out of the situation that they're in. Some people are comfortable with you never making a six-figure income. They just are not. Some people are comfortable with you stand at that entry-level position on your job. Some people are comfortable with you never having confidence. Some people, I don't know whose faces are running across your mind right now, but I hope they are. I pray they are. They don't want you leveling up. How supportive are they? Or do they often try to find ways, little ways, to get you off that? Oh, I know you said you wanted to start school this fall, but girl, we need to go on a trip. I just wanted to go to Europe and I wanted to go for 3 months. So girl, let's just do school next year. If you in my lane, if you about helping me and pushing me, then you're going to understand that what I'm trying to do is going to not only benefit me, but the generations after me. When we're talking about relationships with people in this day and age, because time is running short and it's only so much time left to do the will of God. I can't waste time being with you and you're just toxic. I can't. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray for you. Yes. And I don't mind talking to you and having general conversations, but when it comes down to my life and my purpose and going where God wants me to go, everybody is not going to be able to go. Everybody is not going to be able to be a part of that conference call. That's why you have a lot of people when God is transitioning them and when he is leading them into a new season, and I got to look at my time so I can go. But when he's transitioning, a lot of times, some people fall off the wagon, and that's on purpose, for a purpose, to do great things. Everybody cannot go with you. You cannot take everybody with you. And a lot of times, if you really ask people, did they know? They know. They knew. If we could take a trip and just ask people, did you know? If they really wanted to be honest, I knew. I knew they really weren't for me. But I felt obligated. I felt like I owed them something. I felt like I had something to prove to them. So I kept them along with me. It's like my daddy told me, you can do bad all by yourself. You don't have to show nobody nothing. Trying to prove points is half the reason why we don't get where we're supposed to go. I identified you as opposition for me, but then I still want you to be sitting next to me because I need you to see me winning. I don't need you to see that. I don't. Back to Psalms 23. If God wants you to see me elevating or doing something like that, he will invite you to the table. That invitation does not have to come from me. You have to be careful because you never know what people are plotting behind your back, especially people, as I said before, who are bitter, they are cold, they are toxic, they are unhappy with themselves, and they are walking and seeking victims. A toxic person, a person that is out to seek victims to take down, they don't always have the same look. A lot of them look head to toe, decked to the nines. I'm talking about the finest of the finest. That's what they got. That's what they do. That's why they're at every level of your life. There's going to be somebody there that's like that. And for many of us, unfortunately, those people are in our environments from where we came from in childhood. And then as you get older, if you've continued a relationship with them, they go there. And then some people you meet along the way, as I said in those places before. But either way, you just have to be on guard. about who is speaking in your life. That's why you got to be careful about what you're talking about and what you say. You can't talk to everybody. You can't talk to everybody about dreams and goals and vision. If we're having general conversation about general things, that's great, especially when you're at the workplace or you're in a community area where that's what you do. I can talk for days to anybody. Ask my mama, because she always says that I have the gift of gab. I can talk to you about anything all day. But at the same time, even when you are talking, you have to be listening and you have to be discerning and you have to be able to pick up little things that, I can't do it. When you're especially talking about incorporating people into your personal life, general conversation, we just see each other at a dinner or something like that. 9 times out of 10, it's not much influence going on there, but there can be influence. But when you're talking about consistently seeing a person, even romantically, not just platonic, but romantic as well. When you're talking about consistently seeing a person, the more you're with that person, there is influence taking place. You may not realize that, but there is influence taking place. Even watching these videos, if you choose to subscribe to my channel and watch all of my content, which I really do hope you do, in a way, I have some form of influence over you. I do. I have some form of influence. And so that's the thing that we have to take in, even with YouTube. I'm glad the Lord brought that to my mind, even Instagram. Years ago, I heard someone say that, be careful who you follow on social media. And this was when social media was really becoming a thing. And I was like, what do they mean by that? Follow. You're just looking at them. But over the years, I've seen what they were talking about. Influence is heavier online these days than it is in person. Who you look at, who you subscribe to, who you follow, who you friend. They have the ability to influence you. You can literally be thinking one way and then they can come along and change you and say, oh, I don't think you should do that. This is how life should be now. And then your whole way of thinking has altered. Be sensitive to that. Be sensitive to that. Clothe your mind with prayer and with the word of God, and ask him to lead you to those people that can speak into your life and will be a positive influence. That is why a minute ago, as I said before, it starts with you. It starts with you have to want it. We have so many people who say, I want love, I won't care, I want 50-50 in relationships. I want people that will celebrate me, but they don't celebrate nobody. They not loyal to nobody. Who are you loyal? How can you ask for loyalty when you're not even loyal? You want friends, but you're not a friend. You want realness and you ain't real. You fake. It just blows my mind with the things that people ask for, that they demand from someone else, and then they themselves are not even that at their core. You don't change for nobody, but you want everybody around you changing for you. That's a selfish, self-centered person. And you have to be willing to make those realities and those changes. I've had to do it. It is not easy. But if you want to grow and go anywhere in this life, you have to be willing to change for the better. Because if you don't, you too, I too, will become a bitter person who always is sitting back, bump on the law, got our noses and faces turned up at everybody coming across that we feel like is trying to take our shine or do what we had always wanted to do, having something negative to say because we missed our moment and we see them in their moment. And so since I missed my moment, I'm gonna make sure you don't get yours. That's why this is a recycling issue. It's something that is consistently happening. And that is why you have to be willing to do the work. Not just talk about the work, not just drive to therapy sessions, or even when you're at church listening, but then walking away from the preached word, or even when you're in your own devotion, walking away from that and then going back to what you were doing initially. You're not going to have any growth. You're not going to see any real change. Change starts right here in us. When we sit down and we allow God to really do the work. It's like laying on a surgeon's table. I heard someone say this years ago. When you talk about change, especially the change that God wants to bring about in our life, when he comes in, when Jesus Christ comes in and fills that dark heart and he illuminates it and brings it back to life, that's like laying on a surgeon's table and they have to open you up. They have to do open heart surgery on you. They have to literally open you up. You got to be prostrate, laid out. They got you on a table and you are under the surgeon's knife and they have to make that incision. They have to cut you. Go in there, take the gunk out, repair, sew you back up, wake you up, and then start telling you the different methods and things to do so that you can walk forth in your natural healing. So this spiritual healing is the same way. Healing takes time. It's not something that happens overnight. Trust me, I know. It's not something that's going to happen snap of a finger. You have to be committed to the process, and we have a lot of people who are not committed to the process. And they get angry when they see healed people because they want you to be bitter and unforgiving just like them. But when you choose healing, this is even the case. I've heard this even in families. A lot of families are abiding and dwelling in bitterness, those strongholds of bitterness and jealousy and unforgiveness that holds that family unit together. When there is someone that decides to step out and do something different, they don't know how to take that individual. Oh, you just trying to be different. Oh, you just trying to, but no, I'm just trying to be healed. I'm just trying to be happy. I'm just trying to be healthy. I'm tired of hating on people. I'm tired of talking about everybody. I'm tired of all sitting back doing the same thing. I want to do something different. I see this big world in front of me, and I want to go out there and do something in it. What's wrong with that? Why can't I do it? Why can't somebody from our bloodline go out here and do it? Why do we all have to stay at Timbuktu? Why can't we go to Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C.? Why can't we go to Manhattan? Why can't we go to New York? Why can't we go to the stars? Why can't we go to the moon? You gotta be with people who see beyond. They see this world, but then they see the world after it, and they say, that's what I want. And I'm gonna go, and I want you to be with me so we can go together. I'm gonna give you the tools, you give me the tools, and we're gonna support each other in this. And we're gonna make sure that we don't fall or that we don't fail. Yeah, it's gonna be bumps in the road and things are gonna happen, and yeah, it's life. Stuff is going to happen. Jesus never told us that we wouldn't go through anything. But we have to be willing, like I said about the surgeon, we have to be willing to get up from that table and do what the doctor said do. You can't just go back home and start eating any old kind of way. And trust me, I've never had open heart surgery, but I know how hard it is to eat at a certain diet when you have different health things and health conditions going on. It's not easy. I struggle with the Daniel fast, okay? And that's not even a medical procedure. It's just, it's a beautiful fast that brings us closer to God spiritually. But I struggle because I like my red meat. I like my potatoes. I like my mac and cheese. I like my fried chicken. I actually love that. Baked chicken, rotisserie chicken, barbecue chicken. I'm a greedy girl. I can eat. So trust me, it's not easy when you have to follow a specific regimen and you can't eat this and you can't eat that and you got to do this, you got to do that. It's not easy. It's a process. It's a process, but we have to be committed to the process. When you have been around nothing but darkness all your life or a portion of your life, you then understand just how real it is when you look outside and you see a glimmering ounce of hope. You see somebody doing it different and you're like, wait a minute. They doing something different. It's something that piques your interest and you want to go out there and you want to do it. It's possible. It can be done, but you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to do the work. We're going to be tested. We're going to be tried. But as long as we're willing to do that work, as long as we're willing to be committed, to not fall into those traps that the enemy sets for us to misalign us from our purpose and our goals and the destiny that God has for us, then we going to be all right. We going to be all right. And so we'll do more of this talk. I feel like we need to dive a little bit deeper in it. But this is just a good conversation. So I hope that you enjoyed it. It's time for me to go back. I have gabbed enough. It's time for me to go back to work and head back in. But I hope that you have been enjoying the other content as well as this video right here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Share it with someone. Let other people listen to it. And I will see y'all in my next video. All right? Bye.